Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Am I the bonehead for having a third child, though my children from my first relationship will not approve? I was married to my ex-husband for 22 years. Both of my children are above 18 and in college. My husband asked for a divorce and immediately moved in his new partner. She is a young, beautiful woman. They are remarried now. I strongly suspect they were having an affair. In our culture, very few people get divorced, so I am looked at with pity. People also ask what is wrong with me or my husband that he divorced me. I met another man, S. I had never dated before and he swept me off my feet. I am 14 weeks pregnant with a boy. S was thrilled when he found out. Neither of us had a large chance of pregnancy, so we did not take precautions. S has promised to take care of me and our child. We are getting married very quickly. My daughters have always favored their father. He tends to spoil them. They have not been happy about my attempts to beautify myself. I have always focused more on them and being a mother. My children will be upset, but they are both adults, and this will not impact them too much. Is this bad? Am I the bonehead? Now, for some comments. Not the bonehead. How on earth are your adult children fine with their father leaving for a homewrecker, yet you're not allowed to have another relationship? Doesn't matter what they think. You're having a baby. As long as you're excited, that's all that matters. Not the bonehead OP. Your husband moved on from you. You have the right to be happy as well. Your adult children seem to not have anything to say about your ex-husband remarrying, so they shouldn't have a say with you as well. Get married again, have children again. But most importantly, be happy. Good luck with your pregnancy and your wedding. Am I the bonehead for telling my brother-in-law to pay me $700 for my lost coat when I bought it for $100? Last year, I was at the mall with my fiancé when I saw this awesome cashmere wool coat. It was perfect in every way, and there was only one left in my size. The best news was that it was on clearance for $100, so I bought it without a second thought. I have worn it several times last year, but it hasn't been cold enough this year for me to break out the coat. Last week when I saw the news about the upcoming cold front, I decided it was time to take it to the dry cleaners so that I can wear it this week. After tearing all my closets apart without seeing it, I asked my fiancé if she had seen it. She told me that she had not seen me wear it in a while, so she lent it to her brother to wear to a wedding. I was annoyed at hearing this, but decided not to make a big deal, so I simply told her to tell her brother to bring it back so I could get it dry cleaned. Thursday rolls around and he hasn't brought it back, so I asked her about it again. Nothing. Come Friday and I haven't heard anything, so I called him. He said that he told my wife on Tuesday that he got drunk at the wedding and lost my coat. I was super annoyed at this, so I told him he owes that exact coat from that exact brand. Last night, my fiancée came home from work in a mood and handed me $100. She said that her brother dropped off the money and I shouldn't have made her brother pay for the coat since I knew he doesn't make very much, and I haven't worn it but a handful of times. I looked at the $100 and told her I wanted a replacement coat, or the amount it currently costs so that I can buy a new one and that $100 won't cover it. She said he went to the store and it costs $700 now, but she knew I only paid $100 for it, so she told him $100 would cover the cost. I argued that $100 doesn't buy me a new coat. We went back and forth but couldn't find any common ground. She offered to throw in an extra $100 of her own money and said sarcastically that I'm coming out ahead. I argued that I'm still out a coat and nothing will satisfy my loss except for a replacement coat. She argued that I don't have to have the exact coat and that I can buy a similar one with $200. She thought I was being ridiculous and called her parents on speakerphone. Of course, they sided with their children, and her dad tried to say that a man shouldn't be so hung up on a coat. I told him that a man replaces what he loses. So now they're all mad at me for wanting to make a profit from their son and intimating that he's not a man. Am I wrong for wanting the same coat as a replacement? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. I don't see this as an attempt to make a profit. I see this as a man wanting his coat replaced. Just so happens, the value of the coat went up. If a thief steals from a home and takes gold bars from the safe, and when the thief is convicted and ordered to pay restitution, the current value of the gold bars is considered, even if the value of the gold bars were significantly less at the time of purchase. Brother-in-law needs to have some integrity and take personal responsibility. He borrowed the coat and he lost it. As a man, you pay your debts. Brother-in-law is the bonehead for losing the coat, but it happens, and the manly correct response is to replace it. Girlfriend is definitely a bonehead for lending the coat out without talking to OP about it. Girlfriend is also a bonehead for not being forthcoming with OP about brother-in-law losing the coat. Girlfriend is also a bonehead for deciding how much brother-in-law should pay to replace the coat on her own without consulting OP. There are some red flags with OP's girlfriend that he should probably take into consideration. Not the bonehead. Obligatory. You don't have a brother-in-law problem, you have a fiancé problem. Talk to her that it was absurd of her to just randomly lend out your stuff without asking, and that this was only exacerbated by the lended object getting lost. It is now up to her to replace the coat she took. Whether she makes her brother pay or not is irrelevant. She is the one that took your coat without asking. She is responsible for a reasonable replacement. Not the bonehead. She didn't hand her brother $100. She handed him a coat. He didn't need $100 for the wedding. He needed a coat. I do a lot of bargain hunting and thrifting. I buy things for a low cost that have a higher value because I invest time and expertise into knowing what to buy. In this case, your financial investment was $100, but you also were in the right place at the right time to find a coat at a deep discount. You stored it and kept it in good condition. You had enough knowledge to see the value in it. A value that your brother-in-law appreciated because he decided that it was nice enough to wear to a wedding. When your brother-in-law took the coat, he valued it at more than $700. They owe you a similar coat. Now, if he can find one for $100, sure, and it needs to be the same materials and quality as the one he lost. That is work he needs to put in, not you. You are dumping the girlfriend, right? Am I the bonehead for telling my girlfriend that my loyalties lie with my baby brother? My little brother recently moved in with me. It was a huge shock at first. My brother, Will, 17, is female to male. I, male 34, had no idea he was trans or even questioning his gender. He always seemed perfectly happy as a girl. You know, he was very feminine presenting and all. Turns out he came out to our parents after getting his hair cut, and they didn't take it well in the slightest. From what he's told me, he wasn't exactly kicked out. They just started being unbearable. They were calling him Mila in every sentence they said, just to annoy him, I suppose. Mom kept booking him in for appointments to get hair extensions and his lashes done. Our dad didn't let him wear the male uniform to sixth form, and so on. It got so bad that he literally took a train from down south to up the north to ask if he could live with me. Of course I said yes. The house is big enough to have him live there. There's 4 bedrooms and an attic room. My girlfriend, Nico 32, was irritated when she found out. We've discussed her moving in before Will came, and now she's telling me that she will not move in until Will leaves. I've explained to her that Will isn't a child we'd have to constantly supervise. That if anything, he's the one making the place more livable. He's very insistent on adding on to the home decor and so on, as well as being better than me at cleaning, and that the house is large enough to still have privacy even with him around. Nico's argued that it's not truly ours if Will is always there, that we won't be able to start trying to conceive, that she's not willing to live with a hormonal and rebellious as teenager, and that she's just flat out uncomfortable with Will being near her and living with her, and her son, male 10, in the same home. Ultimately, I've told her that my loyalties lie with my baby brother, who is homeless and vulnerable, unlike the grown woman with a good-paying job and a home of her own. She's called my mom up to complain about it, and she said that I was in the wrong for prioritizing Will, And Will himself said that he doesn't want to be causing problems in my relationship. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. I love that you are protecting your brother. Have to say I'm rather confused that your girlfriend has a younger child to look after and expects you to welcome that child, but can't extend the same to you and goes running to your unaccepting parents to make you toe the line. Not the bonehead. Sure, she doesn't have to want to live with someone, but oh boy, being this rude to turn down a trans teen struggling at home for seemingly no reason. Then also calling your mom someone your brother has a contentious relationship with? The lack of compassion here should be a huge red flag. What's her real issue? It's not a privacy thing since her 10-year-old son would be living there too. So, she's 1, uncomfortable with your brother being female to male. 2, thinks that your brother would prey upon her son. Or 3, she's not as concerned about the house being ours as it being hers. And to call and complain to your mom? If my son's partner called me to complain about my 34-year-old son, I'd tell her to grow the F up and talk to him about it. None of those is a good look. Am I the bonehead for being pissed that my daughter-in-law won't accommodate my allergy, so I'm not going to her dinner? I am very, very frustrated. My son has been married to my daughter-in-law for 3 years now. I have always made extra dishes that didn't include meat to accommodate her. No matter how much it was a pain to do, I always made sure she had options to eat when I hosted, or she was over. She is vegetarian and at one point tried to go vegan. My son and her never hosted due to living in a small apartment, but that changed since they have just bought a home. They are having a dinner this week, and I called her to remind her I am allergic to nuts. She then informed me that she doesn't have time and to bring my own food. She told me that she cooks a lot with different nuts, and she can't make adjustments to her menu. This is where I might be a jerk. I told her I will not be going, and neither will my husband. That I have accommodated her for years, and not once have I made her bring her own food. This started an argument where she thinks I am being unreasonable. My husband is on my side, but my son and her are very upset. Edit. Stop downvoting people who say there are allergies that are not life-threatening. They are correct. My allergy is not life-threatening. If it was going to kill me, I wouldn't be okay with any of the dishes having nuts. I just asked for one that I can eat. I can be at a table with nuts. It's fine. This actually personally annoys me. Allergic reactions are a spectrum from very mild to kill you. Also, everyone saying allergies get worse every time people have it are incorrect. Some allergies can be improved through exposure therapy, which is usually done at a doctor's. My daughter has literally done that with her shellfish allergy. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. Allergies are not food critiques. You literally can die from a bad reaction. The fact you were accommodating for her dietary requests, and then she is completely dismissive of your actual need is absurd. Definitely don't go to a dinner when the chef is blasé about trying to kill you. Not the bonehead. Nut allergies are serious. Catering to allergies is basic hospitality when having a dinner party. Perhaps your daughter-in-law is not ready to play host. She can make adjustments to her menus, especially for close family members. They shouldn't be surprised that you won't come. Not the bonehead. You accommodated her even when her accommodation wasn't necessary, and dependent on the nut allergy, you could just die being around them. The utter disregard for someone's safety is wild to me. Nuts aren't even used as the main ingredients in most foods, so not subbing out is wild to me. The idea she can't change the menu because of a major allergy is giving off the vibe she did this intentionally. That's all for this video. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next Reddit story. Take care.